All right, guys, I'm back. Yes, I know. Yes, I'm back, guys. It's all good. Chill. We're back. Yep. Yes, I know. All right. Okay. Starting out with Anki, as usual. I don't know if we have any cards. Actually, we probably do. Yeah, we do. We have 4. What do we got? In one sentence, what is the main point of Chapter 1, Learning is Misunderstood? Learning is misunderstood in that people think that learning that feels easy and fluent is effective, when in fact it's not. And the opposite is true. Learning that is effortful, especially retrieval practice that is effortful, leads to durable, effective learning. People often misunderstand learning. Durable learning requires effort, struggle, and retrieval, not passive review. I don't know if I consider that correct, but we'll say it's fine. What are the 14 claims the authors make in Make It Stick? There's a direct relationship between effort and learning. We're often poor judges of when we're learning. Rereading and mass practice of a skill are among the most popular and intuitive ways to learn, but are not supported by evidence as effective learning techniques. Retrieval practice is more effective than reviewing notes and rereading. Spaced and interleaved retrieval practice feels less productive because it is more effortful, or it can feel less productive, but in fact it is more productive and leads to better learning because of the direct relationship between effort and learning, at least for retrieval. 6. What do we got? Attempting to solve a problem or to do a skill before learning it increases the learning, the depth of learning, the effectiveness of learning once learned. Once you do learn the skill or are taught the skill. 7, there's no evidence supporting that sticking with a preferred learning resource like style leads to better learning. In fact, going broad and getting many resources seems to be more effective. 8. What could this be? Oh, the ability to distinguish between what makes two similar things different, the underlying principles that are different. It's a skill that can be trained through interleaved and varied practice. And it is a skill that allows you to recognize the subtle differences between similar things in novel situations. 9. What could this be? All learning requires previous learning. 10. There's no known limit to how much we can learn using elaboration. 11. The more information we have to connect new information to, i.e. the bigger the picture we already have, the faster and more effective and deeper learning is. 12. What? Was that 12 or 11? I thought that was 12. Is this 13? Damn it. I thought this was it. I thought I was at 13. What could I be forgetting? Oh, there's 1. But anyway, let me finish this. A sign of mastery or characteristic of mastery / deep expertise is the ability to take out the deep underlying principles and patterns of a field or resource, develop a mental model from them, and then connect that mental model to other related or other mental models. And then 13, Learning changes the brain. We can become smarter. Am I missing one or did I miscount? Thinking through this. Talked about, leave practice. Talked about varied practice, interleave spaced repetitions. Okay. Elaboration. I don't know. Did I say there's no known limit to how much we can learn using elaboration? Yeah, I did. We are all susceptible to illusions. Our ability testing helps calibrate our abilities. Oh my gosh, bro. Back to this. How does mental effort relate to durable learning according to the authors? There's a direct relationship between mental effort and the durability of learning. I don't know why I made a flashcard of that. What are the 6 sections of Chapter 2 to learn retrieve? Chapter 2. Reflection is a form of practice. The testing effect. Exploring the testing effect in the lab. Exploring the testing effect in the lab. Or in the wild, I mean. Studying the testing effect in the lab. Studying the testing effect in the wild. Exploring nuances, the takeaway. Yeah. 14 claims. There's a direct relationship between effort and learning. We're often poor judges of when we're learning. Rereading, mass practice, not effective, but common. Retrieval practice, more effective than rereading and reviewing notes. Spaced interleave retrieval practice, better, more effective, even though it might not feel like it. Attempting to do something, solve a problem, perform a skill before learning it, leads to deeper learning after it has been learned. Priming for deeper learning. There's no evidence supporting that sticking with one preferred learning style resource leads to more effective learning. Going broad seems to be supported, though. Ability to discriminate can be trained through interleaved and varied practice. And it's a skill that allows you to more quickly identify underlying principles between novel things in the future. 9. All learning requires previous learning. Now, actually, 9 is we're all susceptible to illusions of our ability. Regular testing and just testing in general helps us better calibrate our understanding of our abilities. 10. All learning requires previous learning. There's no known limit to how much we can learn if we use elaboration. The bigger picture we already have, information connect, new information, the better the learning, more efficient. The expertise, mastery, characteristic of both is take something, distill it to the underlying principles, take the underlying principles and make a mental model, connect that mental model to other mental models. Learning physically changes the brain, we can become smarter. Damn, that one sucks. All right. I don't know what the point of putting some of those Anki cards was at the end of chapter 1, but next time maybe I get them, I'll delete them. Maybe it's beneficial just to retrieve them anyway. I'll tell you, that was effortful and it was kind of frustrating, so maybe we're learning. Maybe we're learning there. What did we do yesterday? We read the intro chapter about the neurosurgeon Ebersold, the guy with the gunshot wound. He comes in, he uses one of his special techniques that he's developed, not in any textbooks he learned. Sews the muscles to block up the sinus vein, stitches it up, heals them all up. The guy's all good, walks out a week later. Could have easily died, but this neurosurgeon's deep expertise, innovation, mastery of his field and craft was shown in the beginning of this chapter. And then we kind of get into this first section called reflection is a form of practice, and reflection is a form of practice, and it's like, what can we learn from the story of this master neurosurgeon? And we're like, well, basically they're teeing it up to be like, he used reflection a lot, and then they put an excerpt of him talking about how reflection impacts his learning process and his ability to keep learning, get better, kind of in like using an example of trying something out in training, it's not going right, going home, thinking, how can you do it better? Why was that not working? Maybe I'll try this next time, thinking about things you learned in the past, going back over instruction, and then coming back the next day or whenever you get a chance and trying out the new things and seeing if you improve. That kind of reflection. So, and the authors then go into like reflection has four cognitive activities that encapsulate reflection that can lead to deeper learning. And those four cognitive activities are retrieval of experiences and previous teachings and experience and knowledge, and then actually retrieval of the new experience and connecting this old stuff, old memories, to new experience and new memories. So retrieval of old memories, reflection of new memories, and then connecting them, and then also mental rehearsal and mental visualization. Okay? Anything I'm forgetting? We're about to find out. Cool. What does this? Yes. Yeah. Looks like we got it. All right, so we got a few more paragraphs left to finish this section up. I'm going to read them, and then I'll be back to reflect and elaborate. Okay, just finished up that section called reflection is a form of practice. This last bit of reading kind of summed up is so Ebersold, the neurosurgeon, he developed this original sinus vein technique. The idea originally came to him through mental reflection, and he originally practiced that in his mind and in the operating room until he'd done it so many times it just became a reflex. And the end of the chapter kind of sums up or is a quote from him that's like, if sometimes you need to be able to have things, be able to perform things, react to things without being able to think. Like, you can memorize something and think through the steps of doing something, that's where you start, but eventually, like in tight situations, like a race car driver or a quarterback or a neurosurgeon, like there's going to become times where you need to make decisions without being able to think first. You just make the decision without thinking. And the way you develop that reflexive skill or reflexive behavior is just through so much retrieval and so much practice. And then you can eventually like get it's so ingrained and fluid that you can perform something that you've learned before you even think about performing it. It just comes out. I think that's basically it for that section. So interesting stuff on the reflection. So what is this section about? Reflection is a form of practice. Reflection entails multiple cognitive activities that can lead to basically learning. Yeah, I think that's okay. That's not bad. I think reflection entails multiple cognitive activities that can lead to learning. seems a little vague. Not necessarily vague, but maybe multiple effective cognitive activities that can lead to learning. And that's kind of what these YouTube videos are as well. Lots of them are reflection, and they entail reflection. But really, I mean, this is like creating these videos on Make It Stick and other subjects is a version of my learning system that's developed over years. This is free, whatever. You know, I never really kept track of how many updates and iterations and when you call it a new system, but this system seems very effective because I have a reason and a way of just elaborating, reflecting, actively retrieving, and recalling at a very deep level. Without the reason of a video, it'd be very hard to at least start to just do what I'm doing, you know, talk to the wall for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, recall what I talked about or read about yesterday. It lends itself to deep learning, and it just implicitly includes reflection, elaboration, active retrieval, spaced repetitions, putting things in my own words, distilling out the main points, the big ideas. But yeah, there's a lot of benefits. It's at the end of the day, it's a test, but I think it's supported by this section on reflection being a form of practice. Well, reflection is largely baked into these types of videos and this learning style. So next up, sections about the testing effect. This is 2.5 pages. What is this section about? First of all, is what I always put at these top of the sections. What is this section about? I would say the testing effect is a psychological effect in which being tested improves learning. So it's not just a measurement tool, it actually leads to deeper learning. I believe that's what it is. That's my pre-read guess or intuition. So I'm going to read just a paragraph or two, probably 2 paragraphs here. I'll go for 3. We'll see if we can get 3, and then I'll be back to wrap up for the day. All right, I just wrote 2 paragraphs because we really were short on time. This first paragraph was an analogy of retrieval, using an analogy of a knot, comparing a knot to a retrieval practice. And so the authors use a story of this child who's stringing cranberries onto a string, and he's going to go place it onto a tree. But when he does, all the cranberries just slide off because he doesn't have a knot. And if the knot's really important, it ties the loop, right? You wouldn't have necklaces, you wouldn't have beaded purses, tapestries, bracelets, stuff like this without being able to tie a knot. And then they say the retrieval is the knot of learning. And cranberry are these little memories or ideas. We string the cranberries onto the string, but without the knot, they just slide off really quick. And so the second paragraph is about the forgetting curve or studying forgetting curves, in which it's basically like exponential decay. They've been studying since 1885. They've been studying forgetting curves. Basically, it's like you read something, hear something, learn something right here, and then it decays really fast. And then it's the first day you lose 2/3 or 70% of what you read or heard. You forget it. And then the last 30% slower decaying, but it's still decaying. And so right. So I think they also make the analogy that retrieval is tying that knot, and the cranberries are the ideas or memories. So it improves learning. Over time, with more retrieval practice, it tightens it even further, bringing the cranberries closer together and speeds up. They said adds a loop and speeds it up. I didn't understand the loop part for extra speed, but a key to improving learning is interrupting forgetting. So that's it for today. Keep making progress, keep retrieving, keep putting in effort, And we'll keep marching forward and make it stick. And I will talk to you guys later. See ya.